Hey y'all, so I have decided to record another video diary. I know I haven't really done them since the first one I did and posted back in August or September, but I wanted to do another one kind of as like a way to bring it back to growth and growth mindset from being in such a dark place when I recorded that and being hopeful to kind of what's happened between now and then. So this is related in response to the Letter to Juliet video diary that I did. And this one I'm just going to call Note to Self. So I'm just going to go ahead and read it. I am not thinking I'm going to cry, but if I do, it is what it is. Dear Zion of 2023, it's now April 2024. A year ago, you were in one of the darkest moments of your life while simultaneously living in one of the brightest. You were going through your first heartbreak and finishing your bachelor's degree. You went into a depression and didn't want to get out of bed for days, but you did. You continued pouring from a cup that had little to nothing left. You graduated and were able to enjoy that huge life achievement. Over the summer, you went on a life-changing trip, and right before you left to return home, you wrote a letter similar to this one. That letter was a way to process some of the pain and grief you had been avoiding and the growth you had experienced during your time away. It was so good for you. The last year has been a journey of self-care, grace-giving, and healing. Here you are a year after that dark time, and you wouldn't believe where you are now. I am so proud of you. You came home from that trip and began to prioritize you. You became all about yourself, your girls, your hopes, your dreams. You started therapy and really made an effort to take care of yourself and work on what you can do to keep yourself well. As I sit here writing this, the tears just won't stop falling. You were so strong and you overcame. There are days where you still cry. You've been really sad at times during this month especially because you were still grieving a broken heart and what once was, but you are also grieving a future that you imagine for yourself with someone that isn't going to happen anymore. You realize that the 5 years you spent with them created and brought you to a place where your validation was coming from them and being their partner. Now you are starting to really lean into validating yourself and showing yourself the love you would want someone else to show you, the love and care that you deserve. Zion, that heartbreak and hurt is propelling you into one of the greatest times of growth, refocus, and self-love. As a human being, you still have bad days, but overall you have never done so much just because you enjoy it or been so dedicated to spending time with yourself. You are realizing that in order to be where you need to be happy with first being there alone. A man does not equate fulfillment. A heart that is full from the love you show to yourself is what matters. I wish I could go back in time and tell you that you will soar and excel, but in our dark valley moments, it's hard to see the sun shining up above. I guess my reason for writing you this is to show you that it's okay to be sad about it ending, even a year later. But remember that you still have yourself, always. I can't wait to see how you have grown in another year with this one being so monumental. Graduation is around the corner once more, and in August you will have a classroom of your own. You're serving your people in many different capacities as Miss Indian North Carolina, as a board member for Triangle Native, and doing that good community work, and of so many bright things to come in your future. This is not your peak. If you can achieve all of that while coming out of a dark emotional time, then you can do anything. The common denominator in all of that is the effort and energy that you have put into yourself, and in the time to come, I hope you continue to invest in loving yourself because only you can love yourself best. When we're busy loving ourselves, the right person will come along and want to love you too in the way that you love you. I'm going to keep on striving to do what's best for me, and I hope a year from now I'll have even more wisdom to share with the Zion writing this letter. We'll see what's in store. All my love, Zion of 2024. And I wrote this kind of at the beginning of April as a letter to myself because I love letters and I just love writing. And I wrote that kind of in a headspace of, if Zion from 2023 in April, going through all of that, what would I say to her about where I am now? Like, this is what you have to look forward to. This is what you're going to go on to achieve. And that's kind of the space that I wrote this from. And I might make it an annual thing, like, or every few months, write a letter to me and kind of share it as a source of inspiration for other people who may be struggling with mental health, looking for ways to kind of improve their self-care habits or build a self-care routine. Because I've noticed that since then, I've been really dedicated to being outside more, dedicated time to becoming active and taking care of my physical health, monitoring the things that I eat a little bit more, journaling, reading a lot, taking time to do things that I like play my Switch. And now I'm trying to get a routine where I'm getting crafting kind of back into that, and writing. And some of those goals that are in my 5-year plan that I want to start really laying out action steps for me to achieve. And in so doing, I'm caring for myself. And a lot of that is stuff that I would also love to do for my community. So just thinking about how at 22, I'll be 23 in a little while, in a few weeks. I'm really in a state that I did not think I would be in at this moment last year, when I was just in such a dark place. And this being the end of the month, I get a little emotional thinking about how bad off my mental health was back then, and all the hard work that I've done in therapy, in caring for myself, in caring for my community, because caring for our communities is also caring for ourselves. And doing all of that, I really feel like I'm just riding this really high, not a high peak, but this really high place of, wow, I'm really achieving my dreams. I'm building and forming new dreams that I'm chasing after. And just the people in my life have really made me feel very loved and supported. And they're also showing me that I don't need a partner to feel fulfilled or feel like I'm good enough, because that was another thing I struggled with, was self-image, self-worth. Like, do I deserve love? And I know I do, but in those moments, it kind of makes you question yourself. And I've always been a very sure person. I'm very stubborn, but I've always been a very sure person, very strong-minded and strong-willed. And in those moments, I think it was more so the fact that I was starting to have those questions in my mind. Well, what was it with me? And I didn't like being in that place. And I've been doing a lot of work, and I'm still working to unpack a lot of things that came up with the breakup, with that time of depression and all of those things that were going on at that time. But just seeing all of the things that I've accomplished in a year, I just really want to hold myself accountable to continue to journal those things out, get those things out of my system, acknowledge those emotions, kind of process why they're happening and what I can do to channel those in effective ways and really lean into my mental wellness. So I'm hoping in my note to self, and looking at, for those of you who did watch my video diary back in the fall, seeing that and seeing this, you would be inspired too, to kind of look at, what am I doing for self-care? What am I doing to really find validation within me for myself? Because anything that I build with anybody else, whether it be friendships or romantic relationships, they aren't going to be built on a good foundation of both people being individuals if I can't first be cool with just being me. Because if I can't just be Zion, then I can't be just Zion over here in this pair. So I think I'll just end it there. And I'm really hoping that something that I've said, or just seeing the growth, because those around me are really noticing this as well, which makes it all the much more special for me, because investing in me is showing others like they're noticing it. So that is where I'll leave this. And I'm hoping that it kind of inspires, even if it's just one person, to start investing in yourself and really care for you when things you feel come up or thoughts that you have that you feel like, I don't really like how I'm talking to myself. I don't really like how that's making me feel. Just acknowledge that and really think about what you can control. I'm hoping that this helps one of you, and I love y'all.